Boom! What's up, guys? Howdy, howdy. It's been quite a while. Hope you're all doing well. Today, I'm working on a little cover homage of this right here. Boom! Uncanny X-Men 141. This beautiful cover you've probably all seen by John Byrne and then Terry Austin inking. Wonderful, wonderful, wonderful stuff. Probably one of the most homage pictures covers done. Maybe it's not. I haven't looked that up, but it's been done a lot. In fact, I've done one. And so today I wanted to walk you through what makes a good cover homage and how not to do it, what not to do. And if you're going to do a cover homage, there's one specific thing you have to do, and that is give credit to the original artist. And that's simply done by adding after John Byrne, after Rob Liefeld, Jim Lee, whoever's cover you're doing an homage of, you want to add that after blah blah blah. So you're doing it, but you're doing it after somebody. If you don't do that, you wind up doing a swipe, which is what you don't want to do. Let's see here. So here is an image, and now, okay, this is only the pen and ink. Now I'm not looking at the full cover, but if this guy does not add after Liefeld, then it's kind of like you're just stealing it and you're not giving the original artist credit, which is what we would call swiping. So if you're going to do something like this, you got to add that little after so-and-so, because as you can see, I mean, everything's the same, the bullets, the stance, the gun. And so you're just stealing the other guy's image and all that stuff. So you have to give them credit. Here's an image here where you've got the Human Torch and then the other guy, same exact pose. It's just obvious that they're copying what the other artist did. So you're going to need to add that little after. Now, if you're doing it in a comic book and it's like on a panel, you might be like, well, where do I fit that in? So somewhere in there, you got to give the original artist credit, or you kind of look like I don't know, you look like a little thief, a cheater. You're cheating, man. Don't do that. So that is one key element if you're going to do a cover homage. And I'll show you over here on my drawing table of the Green Lantern one I did, and then a new one I get to do. So let's go over. Let's go over here. Remove this, and let me show you my table over here. Here we go. All right. So here's what I'm working on. Oops, and I had my microphone angled the wrong way. I hope you could hear all that. All right, so this is the Green Lantern one that I did. This is just a copy of it. I have that handy in case I'm selling some covers and stuff. Let me see here. What's a good? Need to find some good lighting here. Let me add some sunlight. Let's get some sunlight in here. Maybe that'll help. That's a little better. Okay, so here's one that I did, and this is really cool because if you're doing a cover homage, you can get so many characters in there. And then I had the guy who's commissioning me on this one. He sent me all the names that he wanted of the people in the background, and then I get to slap them in there. And there you go. You got Hal Jordan, and then this chick, I forget her name. Rose? No, I'm blanking on her name. Anyway, so this is the key element right here. And after Byrne, Eric Noltowski after Byrne. I added a little sign, did a little on the original. I did a nice little remark, if you will, in there for him. But this is, and then I colored it, in marker. So I'm trying to get the essence of the original cover of that X-Men cover. You got all this, same stances, et cetera, people. So very, very fun. But again, if you're doing a cover homage, you got to have that little element in there. If not, you're just kind of ripping off the other person. It's been done many times. And a lot of times, I've seen swipers where it's like they'll draw the same exact image. I saw a guy draw the Flash, and it was like obviously a Jim Lee Flash. And he basically, I don't know if he lightboxed it or copied it. I mean, it was exact, right? And then he just signs his name. So it's like, dude, that's like thievery. You don't do that. So anyway, when it comes to actually doing the cover, here's some tips that I like to give folks when you're doing a cover homage. again, you're probably, unless it's a cover recreation, which is a little bit different. If you're doing cover recreation, you're doing the same characters. You're doing the same, poses, etc. Unless the person commissioning it wants you to switch up a few elements. A cover recreation is basically going to be a new artist doing the same exact cover, same characters, all the same stuff. But again, they have to add that after such and such to make it, legit and like they're not stealing it. So when I approached this cover, and I do have the pencils done and they are very light, all I'm doing is I'm really just trying to capture the essence of the cover. It's not going to be exact. I don't have to have everything perfect. You're changing things, right? So even on the poster in the background, I kind of had to measure it out. It's like a grid, so you kind of got to get a little mathematical in there. So I just figured, all right, what's a good size for the boxes and all that stuff. And, I'm not measuring. I don't even know if I own that first cover, but I'm not measuring and getting everything exact. I'm just kind of capturing the essence about how big it is. I'm eyeballing, the circle and all that stuff. And then with the stance, it doesn't have to be perfect as well. You kind of, Wolverine in the original is wearing pants, and so they're kind of wrinkly and crinkly. This is Nightwing. He's got, ain't got pants on. They're skin tight, right? Sailor Moon. So everything's kind of different, but you're just plugging in the elements. And so he gave me a list of all the characters. We got guys like Batman, Superman, Wonder Woman, Alien Xenomorph. We got a Predator in there, Harley Quinn. Wolverine stays in the same spot. And then a few other characters. Even got a Power Ranger in there. So yeah, so the cool thing about this is you could really plug in a bunch of different characters. You can kind of make it your own. So that's why I really dig doing this kind of cover homage. And so, yeah, so that is that. So this is something I will be inking. And again, yesterday I kind of did the pencil layout and stuff. Very custom cover, right? So he sent me, okay, I want Nightwing to look like this. I want this symbol to look like that. I want him to have these boots, et cetera, et cetera. So he got really specific on the Nightwing character. And then Sailor Moon is just, typical Sailor Moon. But you could totally, kind of throw whoever the heck you want in there. It's kind of interesting, like Sailor Moon and Nightwing. Two totally different universes. But hey, when it's a custom commission, you can do whatever the heck you want. So, let's see here. So from this point, it is very rough. So what I'm gonna do is I'm probably gonna do all the boxes for the slain and apprehended first. Get those done, get those in there, and then I'm gonna go in and do the characters in the background. Yeah, and then kind of go in, do the figures in the foreground, then start adding these elements. And every now and then I'll just basically peek at the original, the Uncanny X-Men cover, and just kind of, it's not going to be perfect and exact because, like, in the original, there's blocks up here. It's all a little different, but I've got the rip, got the little rips and stuff, got the posters, right? And if I'm hand lettering it, it's not going to be perfect. It's not going to look as good as John Byrne's. But again, it's just a matter of capturing the essence of it. So when anybody looks at it, it's like, oh yeah, I know exactly what that is. And then, you got your little after Byrne. So that's what really makes homage covers cool. It's easily recognizable, but you can totally customize it. And yeah, so looking forward to inking this. Lots of characters. Like I said, Predator, get to do a Harley Quinn. This is Android 18 from Dragon Ball Z. I mean, he's like totally mixing up the universes here. So from here, I guess I should start inking, although I don't know if I'm ready for that yet. I don't know. Don't know if I should go there yet. But let me check the comments. Let's see who's hanging out. Nobody yet. It's all good. So I'm going to tinker around a little bit on this. I'm going to tighten things up in the pencil stage before I actually go to inks. And then, yeah. So I'm going to fiddle around with these guys in the background. We got a Batman, we got a Superman, and a Wonder Woman. What do I need? Dun, dun, dun. Let me get this. And like usual, I like to do very light pencil, so that way when I erase, you're not left with a bunch of smudging. And then this one here, let's move this over. All right, so let's do some Batman. And if I look at the original cover, these characters in the background, there's no blacks, right? So this is Batman. So typically you'd have a lot of black, but everything is just I don't know, kind of more like transparent looking. There's no blacks or anything like that. So it's just line work, which makes it kind of cool. So let's get a little more detailed here. It's kind of like quick kind of rendering. I don't know if I want to do ears or not. Let's just keep it flat. Get the bottom of his jaw. Depending on what costume I do, I could do like the little yellow like thing right here, but whatever. Depends on what outfit we're doing. So boom, done. Super quick, easy, just a few lines. We got Superman here. He's been apprehended. Get the curly Q. That's all you need for some Superman. Dun, dun, dun. And then, you'll have the names on the bottom. Again, it doesn't have to be perfect, but especially if you're doing them by hand, it is not going to be perfect. And I think, so probably on the original cover, you got a letter going in there and adding that stuff there. Add the top of his symbol here. And that little stuff, easily recognizable. Wonder Woman. Just adding little things here. I'll have to look at her headpiece. Got the cape there. Let's see. She's not going to have anything up here. This would just be skin. Something like that. I'll have to probably do this hair a little better, but that's it there. Alien Xenomorph. He's kind of, again, if I was doing this with black, he'd be very black, but since we're just doing rendering, that's really all I'm going to do. Basically outlining the black areas. All right, who's this? This is, let me look at it. This is Spider-Man. We got a Spider-Man up in here. Dun, 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 dun. Let's see. So if I get any closer, it's gonna. It's kind of blurry, but just a big egg shape for Spider-Man. Good enough. Let's draw these. Let's see. Dun, 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 dun. And even if this little thing is covering his face, you already know it's Spider-Man. I always forget which way these go. That way. Yeah, they go that way. Away. They go away. All right. Power Ranger, Predator. I'm going to have to look at that a little bit more. Make sure I get those details correct. We got a Harley Quinn. Let's do Harley Quinn real quick. Gonna make her eyes a little bigger, a little crazier. And he did not specify like which costume he wanted, so I'm just gonna do what I want here. So I'm gonna do more modern. Go with the more modern Harley. Although I prefer the Bruce Timm the original. I'm gonna go with the newer version here. Something like that. Bigger eyeballs. So in inks, I just got to make sure I'm not getting too dark. Just line work here. Wolverine. Dun, dun, dun. That's that chick, Android 18. This is Black Cat, but really you're only going to see the top of her head. Then we got another chick over here. Oh, that's like an anime girl. Forget her name, but really you're only going to see little parts of this, so I'm not going to go crazy. Yeah, so basically what I'm going to do, whenever I'm going to hit one of these characters, I'll just make sure that I'm getting a good reference, making sure I capture the essence of the character. It's not going to be perfect, but as long as you can kind of spot it, that's all that's necessary there. You know, if it's just that character, I'd put a little more time into making sure everybody looks exact, but some of these characters aren't even seeing the full figure, etc. So you're just kind of putting in little details. This is a girl, so put in some big lips. Right there. Black Cat. I don't think there's really any more identifying marks on her. So yeah, pretty rough, but this is basically where I like to go from if I'm going to ink it. Add in the other information as I go. He'll have a lot of black on him, but then you'll have that contrasted with the characters in the back, very open, very similar to this. And then because now the cool thing is I'm going to color this traditionally with marker, right? So back in the day, the color palette that they used was very simple, right? So this yellow, I like have a perfect match for that. The background, almost the perfect match. And then, you know, these colors are very, very similar that I'm going to use. So that really helps. That really helps sell it as a cover homage. And I did end up scanning this in the inks, and then I colored it digitally, blew it up and made a print. So that part of it, that looks like a little more, you know, newer, and was able to do some cool effects. But the actual cover was all traditional, but it still works. Still works very well. So anywho, there you go. This is a cover homage. I'll add some inks to this in a future video, but pretty much that's it for today. That's all I wanted to get across is what are some basic steps when you're doing a cover homage. How do you really sell it? So, dun dun dun. Real quick to recap. Let's go back over it. Yodel, yodel, yodel. All right. Here you go. The original. Bum, bum, bum. X-Men 141. Go over here. Yeah, so you'll see the colors. Bright yellow, dark blue, blah, blah, blah. On the, let's see. I'm trying to think. Yeah, when I did the print, I made up some of the stuff on the top. So I like added the, you know, I think the comics group stuff. I added the Comics Code Authority, just kind of like really put those elements in there too, which you don't get on the original because it had the title fictions of the Green Lantern, et cetera, et cetera. But got to do the after John Byrne. Otherwise you end up with just like someone stealing somebody else's artwork. Found this on Art Swipes. Now, so this is just the black and white, right? But if on the final cover with the colors, you have, you know, the artist signing their name and it says after Liefeld, then you're good. You're good. All you got to do is give credit to the original artist. here's a panel from a page. This is probably Jack Kirby. And then you have, I think this is Liefeld, actually. If I had to guess, I'd say it's Rob Liefeld, but I don't know for certain. But, you know, when you're doing panel work, you know, you might not have the room to put in little after Kirby. It might even be covered up by the dialogue. You don't know. So you got to just kind of put it in there somewhere, even if it's in the beginning credits, like, you know, panel blah on page whatever is after Kirby. That's all you need to do. You're just telling people like, hey, I'm taking this from someone else and I'm repurposing it, blah blah blah. And a cover recreation, if I'm doing this exact same thing applies. I need to add that little after Byrne and Austin or whatever, you know. Got to do that, and then you're not stealing somebody's stuff. Plain and simple. That's the main thing. So hope that was helpful. Stay tuned, as I will be doing more on this cover. And yeah, appreciate you guys being there. Hope all is well. Peace. Till next time. Adios.